Rob, you look like you're hosting a big main event. Great.
This is the opening, my dear. This is it.
Hi, Wai Ching. Okay, everybody needs to come to the session. All right. Okay.
My badge might be a little bit bright. I might take it off. What do you think, Tahira?
Okay, it's glimmering. So let people come in. Rob, you want to say anything?
Absolutely. Okay. I'd like to say good afternoon to our New Zealanders, our Australians, of course, and good day to our Singaporeans. What a downpour today we had in Singapore. Anyone who would have been out early would have got drenched, and those who have been inside would have seen a lot of water in their balcony, that's for sure. For those in the UK, certainly welcome everyone aboard. Of course, Melanie in the UAE. Obviously want to say good morning to those in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But it's such a joy. My name is Rob Salisbury, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful to be able to co-host with Tahira today and give you a little insight of what we're going to be doing over the next 2.5 days for some of you. So it's a pleasure to be with you. Tahira, gosh, you look great this morning. My gosh, where have you been? Woo, looking good.
Well, national rest, right? Why not?
I gotta get some earrings like you got. They look
please don't.
Now, I think my camera's a little bit washed out, so we'll just have to work with it for this afternoon. Okay. But for the most part, Tahira, how have you been? Obviously, big night, big week. We've got a lot going on right now.
Yes, that's right. It's amazing. I never really quite imagined that we would be doing an entire Golden Door event, awards, inauguration, workshops, all in one, virtually. I never quite imagined that. We'll be doing a virtual inauguration, a virtual awards, which we haven't done before. And,
correct.
And you have been running how many events?
About 2,300 in the last 25 years or so. A lot of them training workshops, large-scale events in the U.S., Australia, Marina Bay Sands. I was there when they first opened it. Many events with the Real Estate Association and various food. There's been so many things, but of course, we're into a whole new deal for 2020.
2020.
And, so exciting.
Yeah, it has been an eye-opener. It's also been a venture into new ground.
Absolutely.
All of us. For me, even I've been a technologist for 20 years. But still, here we are taking it to another level and still making sure that we can connect to people, make things happen, regardless of what a situation is we are facing in this world. We can still make things happen, get our message across, do what we need to do.
Absolutely.
The unstoppable, that's what it is. So
well, as we have people join us to hear, it's going to be a lot of fun. We can see more and more people join us online, which is fantastic. Great to have them. Hi, Tula. Great to have you on board. Hi, Bogdan. I know you're in Sacramento, and I forgot to mention that. We have got a number of people throughout today, depending on where you're at, of course. And I want to certainly put a big shout out to Carrie Phipps outside of Sydney, who's been absolutely wonderful to work with the last year. And locally here, I must say hi to Joanne Flynn, who, of course, Joe, was the one who introduced you and I about a year ago. It just seemed like yesterday, but, you know, Tahira, it's been unbelievable the last 350 days. The journey has been just unbelievable. And we could have never known we would have been in this spot where we had hoped to be at the Marina Bay Sands. And I have in my possession the very first ticket, 001. So when we met up way back then through Joanna.
Way back, September.
Way back.
September, I remember, yes. 1 year exactly.
So the 28th of March was when this ticket would have been turned in at the reception at the Marina Bay Sands, which is still, we still have a reception there. I mean, I still know you have a deposit for a big room, and we will use that at some point, but it's not going to be today. We're definitely not going to be able to use that today. So I'm so excited to be online with you, and thank you for the opportunity to be your MC.
Okay.
Master and Commander, and this journey together that we're going to do is going to help bring our authors and our writers and our bloggers and vloggers and online community together for this inaugural launch. You know, there's ever really one start to anything, just like there was with Microsoft, with Bill Gates, and with Steve Jobs, with, of course, that little tiny company called Apple. And any big thing starts in the beginning with its first step. So in a little while, I'm going to introduce you properly, but I think the informality right now is we're just so glad to have our community coming together and seeing people online. So hi, Lyndon. Great to have you. Ching, nice to see you. Hi, Judy. There's so many people coming online.
Hi, Jivan. Hi, Natalie. Natalie's in Penang.
Oh, is that right? Natalie Turner.
Natalie Turner. Hi, Tony in New Zealand.
Oh, excellent. Hi, Nat. Hey, look, I was doing some work behind the scenes a couple days ago, and it's been coming as more and more people come into the event. But just our authors in the last year, those 80 people who submitted, articles and vlogs and essays and poems. I wrote to myself a little list. Tahira, I couldn't believe it. We passed 500 books that this group of people have written and published and put out in the marketplace. Over 500 books that are out in the marketplace, some absolute crackers when it comes to big sellers. And something like 18,000 articles that I could do on research of our writers who've come into the top 20, down to the top 3, down to the top 2. We've got some phenomenal people. Academia, of course, special education, those people in the corporate world. I'm so excited. I feel so humble and privileged to be with you in this moment. So it's very, very exciting. 5th of September, 2020. We're on track. We're on.
That's right. And I'm just going to say hello to a few people who just come in. Professor Iran, he's one of our panelists, special guests, a conspiracy analyst. Hi, Professor, you are in Cairns, Australia, originally from Austria. Hi, Mystique, she is in Switzerland. She is logging in really early morning.
Nice. Love Switzerland.
Okay, great. So yes, Rob, absolutely. We have a very rich knowledge, experience amongst the people involved in this. I'm not talking about just the participants, but also in terms of the special guests, the judges included, the panelists, who are some of the examples of great authors, change champions, messengers. I like to use the word messengers. I will share a little bit more when I talk more after this, after our welcoming. Yes, so there's such a diversity. Later on, we will have a VIP panel, right? That time, it's about 2:40 p.m., right? Singapore time.
Correct.
Remember that we're giving the time zone of Singapore. So if you're in another part of the world.
Now, help me out here. Is that very important people or very intellectual people?
Actually, I don't like to use the word VIP. We're all very important people.
Definitely.
I don't really like to use the VIP. But then,
all our people matter.
Yes. But then they are important because at that, for this case, we have this panel and we have a discussion on the narrow definition of truth, and we were working at solutions. Yeah. I know it sounds a little bit obscure, but we also have former member of parliament, Viswas Sarivasan from Singapore, and Professor Aryan, and we have Dr. Kirpal Singh, our chief judge, poet laureate of Singapore, the poet laureate, and literary culturalist, and I'll be moderating. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, now we've got a pronunciation on Cairns, and I agree. It's Cairns.
Oh, Khan, sorry.
Yeah, look, you've got to go scuba diving. We've got to take you scuba diving more often to Port Douglas. You fly into Cairns, you have a couple beers with the Aussies at the lounge, then you get on your bus, they take you to Port Douglas, you hang out for the evening, and then of course you go out to the Great Barrier Reef and have yourself a great time, come back and have beers that night, or margaritas or pizzas. But Port Douglas, what an absolute cracker of a place. I was there in 94 for the first time for 10 days, took my sisters up there, my girlfriend, who's now my wife, 20 plus years.
Wow.
And in 97, I went back for a 1,000-day kind of let's do a repeat. And that morning, our last morning, was the morning they announced Princess Diana getting killed, which was very, you know where you were in 97, August of 97. So we really remember that morning at the Port Douglas Sheraton. But Cairns is a special place. Now, I think we're referring to Cairns, France. Not Kansas, but I could be wrong.
Oh, no. Yes. I'm talking about Australia.
That's good.
Well, you're Australian, basically. So
we're getting thrown under the bus here. Cairns in France is better than Port Douglas. Well, all right. I'm looking forward to the invitation, so I can't wait for that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see who else is online now. Roshani from India, Mumbai. Hi, Roshani. Thank you.
Nice.
Yep. Let's give it a few more minutes. Oh, okay. So, right. You want to share a few things about what was coming up today?
Yeah, it's a big day. And, we have to be so thankful for this time we have. I look back over the last 4, 5, 6 months, those of us in Singapore who are here, myself. Hi, Kevin. Good to see you online. So pleased to have you join us today. Really, really have missed our friendship the last 8 to 9 months since our last barbecue in Singapore. So looking forward to seeing you and having some time with you here in Singapore. But, Tahira, ever since the announcement in February, March of what was beginning to happen across the areas, the flexibility of this community, the flexibility of these writers, the flexibility of these authors to move with these changes with this event has been unparalleled. I'm just in awe of all the, collegiality that we've had, but also the spirit of support along the way. Now, certainly, when you change dates, sometimes you've got some people who can't make things, and we get that. But, very few of us have been on airplanes in the last few months. I don't care how many. This is not my normal. This is not my normal A380. That's just a pencil sharpener. I know, Lyndon, I'll bring it back to Australia and give it to you in your office. But we've all been sort of stuck inside. So hats off to the Singaporeans. And for you, Tahira, I must say, wow. I'm not going to beat the drum too hard here, but I know behind the scenes, the hundreds of hours that we put in with you and Joe and, of course, Dr. Kapal Singh, and Carrie Phipps, of course, who's been just such a great ambassador behind the scenes. And since November, our Facebook Live that we did here in Singapore at Dr. Kapal's office, all these things have stacked up to be foundations that we can be proud of at this moment. And at this moment, we're participating together to move forward in a fantastic event with so many experts coming up in the next few hours. And then tonight, of course, we'll have the opportunity to hear from Jim Cathcart, who's been a great friend since the 90s. And Jim will be speaking to us from Texas. And so that'll be a bit later on tonight. But wow, what a proud moment today. So good to be on.
Yes, he's going to perform, by the way.
Oh, guitar, is that right?
He's going to sing.
Yeah. Oh, he's very accomplished. I mean, and let's not forget, the man does over 100 push-ups a day and has been doing for 3 years.
Oh, at 7.
Pretty accomplished,
I'm Mandela from South Africa, who's one of the youngest participants at the age of 20, I think 22. Hi, who else is I see Jerry Montero. So, yeah, that's right. We have interesting day today. Today it's going to have a mix of that, a bit of entertainment also. Israel Oyulamade, you must pronounce it very correctly. Nigerian, but from England. And he is a wonderful mentor to me, a good friend, and I have trained under him.
Nice.
You know? Yes. And he acted in The Exorcist.
In The Exorcist?
Exorcist.
You better explain that, because there's some young people who wouldn't even know what The Exorcist is.
Okay, all right. Have you heard of the movie The Exorcist? Okay.
Scariest movie of its day.
Exorcism. Well, what else is to explain about that? Exorcism is quite a horror, but movie. Anyway, and he was also in the Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Wow.
He was a black, crippled man. So a superb actor. He acted, he performed in BBC also. He was, well, the Vatican were very fascinated by him because he did a performance in England as Jesus Christ. And he was so amazing as a black Jesus Christ.
Right.
The Vatican was, there were thousands and thousands of people amazed by his performance. You will see he's amazing performer. You will see later on. And it's going to be a preview of the UK playwright Murray Watt's upcoming play, which is only going to be featured in 2021. But we are featuring it here now.
How good's that? Hey, look, you just mentioned Jerry's name, and we haven't met Jerry, but I'll tell you what, you have got an amazing history. I got to tell you what, I saw an amazing article about you about 6 weeks ago in the Singapore Times. Now, we're not talking a one-paragraph article. We're talking, you got the whole page. So that's pretty good. But your history of performing here in Singapore at age of the last 45 years, awards, credentials, I mean, the amount of audiences you've been in front of have been historic. So I look forward to meeting you here in Singapore. And of course, with Tahira, having you involved with what we're doing over the next couple of days, it's really an honor to have you. And so many others that are just so well established across academia and corporate world. We're just in awe of your credentials this year. It's just wonderful.
Okay. So let's see who else has come online. Dr. Kripal is not online yet. He'll come later.
Now, can I do a shout out real quick to Tahira? Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
We've been walking through this journey for a while, so I just want to say, you know, this book, of course, by Joanne Flynn, Karma in Action, came out this year as a bestseller. But I've known Joanne since the late 2000s here in Singapore. Met her at corporate lunch. I was speaking at the Sheraton, probably 2008, 2009. And we've had a great friendship. And Joanne's been one of our judges behind the scenes. And she was the one who introduced me to you. So I must be a big shout out.
Karen Leong introduced us.
Yeah, well, that's right. There was a combination there of both. Karen, absolutely unbelievable. Fantastic ebook writer for me for a number of years, and a fellow accreditation speaker, CSP. Good on you, Karen, certified speaking professional. So it's been a really great journey. And then, of course, I'm going to do a shout out for my buddy back in Australia who were lounge buddies through Qantas when they fly. But Carrie, you know, do talk to more strangers if you get a chance. But Carrie's been in Singapore many times. And Carrie was the one who kind of put us all together at Dr. Kapal Singh's office so we could have a Facebook live feed. And we did that with Melanie in Spain, or sorry, Madrid. So that was exciting. And that was November of last year. Can you believe it? Already 9, 10, 11 months. Been amazing. So it's been wonderful. Now, I don't have everyone's books. I know we have books that are spread out between Joanne and Dr. Kapal in your office, of course. But I do have, and I was at the launch last May. And Kevin, I know you're online, so we'll put that up there, but Nomadic Mindset. And Kevin, you're one of our finalists, and it's been such a beautiful journey to see you create this, but also to be at your book launch last May 2019 at the Harley Davidson dealership here in Singapore. And I was just hoping they would have a prize draw to hear of giving away a free Harley Davidson for the people there, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. Would have been good. Would have been good. But yeah, welcome everybody. We're really pleased to have you on board. So you want to go over the run sheet for today, Tahira, because you got it there, I've got it here. I think everyone knows kind of what we're doing, but as we welcome more people on board, please, you know these people. much more than I do because you've been online with many of them for the last 8 or 9 months.
Okay. You want me to go through the run? What's going to happen the next few hours?
Oh, well, you know, other than having margaritas after hours, but that's for later.
Okay. But I want to say a few words about those who have been supporting this initiative for the past many months. And since the conception of the idea in August 2018, I can't believe it's been almost 2 years.
Amazing.
Yeah, that idea came up. And I saw how most of them actually stuck by this initiative and with me, of course, together and believing in it. And I realized through this pandemic, it was not something that would bring it down. It's a greater test.
Yeah.
And, some of them are here, okay. Some are not coming yet, coming later. But to commend, commend some of the partners, the organizations that partner with us. And I'm going to mention them. Let me see.
Just speak up a little bit more, Tahira.
Can you hear me?
Well, I want to hear more. I want to hear you more. Don't shout at us, but definitely give us that energy, girl.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Authentic Business, they have been a partner for more than a year. And what an outstanding organization. And the people, the founders behind it. They would actually meet with me every month to find out the progress of Golden Door and pray together with me. Can you imagine that? Pray together with me and strategize how to make it successful and come up with ideas and solutions all the way for about a year. What an outstanding partnership.
I agree.
And you will see in the course of the hours how amazing the kind of partners we have who are not just there as a traditional partner where, you put your banner and your booth. No, this is a very heart-centered, soulful connection and visionary, the same vision, same heart, souls aligned and wanting to make a difference. So the Authentic Business is that. You will have a chance to meet with them. There's a workshop we'll be running on the second day, which is the Discover Your Life Purpose.
Nice.
Yes, I'll be run by them. Okay, so then the other partner, Jerry from India, Geronimo Almeida. He always says I can't pronounce his name correctly. But Jerry Almeida, easy to pronounce, based out of Mumbai. Outstanding change champion, activist, book author, and his book, The Karma Curry, has sold huge numbers. He has done countless humanitarian projects. So they run the Rex Kamavir Award for the Change Champions. When we met about a year ago, online, of course, and again, it was a meeting of minds. And he says, why don't we be a merger of truth and championing change? So I said, okay, great. It's going to be Golden Door. Come on here. We'll talk more about it later. Nice. So Jeremy will come on later. Thank you, Jerry. Nice. And of course, the judges. The judges who are my friends. Who are now my friends and always be friends. And how we went through the process and a different kind of judging process. Talk about that later. I'll leave it to that award segment with Dr. Kripal go deep into it.
Yeah.
Yes. And the interviewers, Carrie Phipps, who volunteered to interview us, and also Melanie Falvey of Expert Channel TV. How much effort she put in. Oh my God. 25 videos, was it? Or more, 25 videos. of all the top 20 plus the medalists.
Mm.
Yes. And of course, myself and the judges so painstakingly went through the process, and she released it week by week.
Yep.
Yes. Loving the process. I think it's a bit of an echo. I don't know why it's happening there.
Mm.
It's strange. Okay, she put her heart and soul into it. So that's what I found that was so amazing about, and this is why we managed to make this happen. Because for any great vision to become a reality, it needs teamwork. It needs a group of other to bring up the foundation, to hold it up. Otherwise, it can never be a one-man show, you know.
Or one woman show. Let's not forget.
One woman, one person show. Yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah, it has to be teamwork, very much aligned towards a certain direction. It's like, you know, you see the flock of birds, you know, migrating. They're all aligned. They're individual, each of them unique, but they're all moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful organization.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Look,
So,
we have to. Who else do we need to thank very quickly? Because we've got some people who've joined us, obviously from South Africa. Hello to our friends in Johannesburg.
I have to. Yes, I'm going to say this. All right. To thank Hop Into, who are our technology partner. 2 months of setting this up. Okay, about a month and a half to 2 months, roughly. I've lost track of time. Of setting this up, customizing it, actually talking to the people.
Yeah.
I mean, Bogdan, you're amazing wherever you are. Bogdan, based in California, poor guy. He's barely slept.
I think it's 2 a.m. for him. So
and he's going to be with us for the next 2.5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Bogdan.
Yeah. Here.
He's a believer of the vision. You know, he's a believer of the vision, and he is going to be with us. I know that. I want to also say a few words about, of course, our partner, We in Goliath, but they're not here right now. Because in the US, it's early morning. We and Goliath, we work together to get the branding right, to get the positioning right. It's not so easy, you know, when you're talking about something that's so esoteric, on an altruistic basis, to get that message across into this world, into the right way, needs a bit of fine-tuned expertise, and they worked with us on that.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. I hope I've not missed anyone. I'm going to say a few. Okay, of course, Dr. Tripara will say that, but when he comes online, wait for him, and I'll say a few things.
Of course.
Okay.
Happy to do that. You know, the Golden Door Awards, the awards are, I guess, a symbol of an achievement to the people who've been involved behind the scenes, who have been doing the hard yards, writing their blogs, their essays, their poems, creating amazing content for those three mediums, but also, of course, for the books. And there's been some amazing books we've gone through the last 11 months, Tahira. You know, the work that you've done, and Dr. Gopal, and of course, Joanne. I don't mean to keep going over that, but those 4 cornerstones to get through the process, to find these people who come to the pointy end of the airplane, you might say, with the awards tonight and through the weekend. But we really have to give credence to what this is about. And I know you're going to go into that in a little bit, but the Golden Door Awards, it's really more about the integrity of the written word and creating the truth behind the written word. And there's so many good examples, you know, we've had in the last 200 or 300 years around the world of the written word becoming the spoken word. And I was doing some homework last week for today's opening, and I would be really remiss if I didn't say a couple things about a couple dates in time. Now, granted, they're white, you know, male, but during the time, that was kind of the time when they did speak. But, you know, 1863 was the 250 words that Abraham Lincoln spoke during the Civil War that changed the entire course of history. Now, that was 250 words 160 years ago, but those 250 words were written out 18 different times before he was finally happy with the final speech that he gave. And a lot of people don't know that. But then in 1941, of course, some of us who remember our parents and our grandparents coming through the World War II era, and many of us have been educated to know that famous speech that Franklin Delano Roosevelt gave to Congress on the 7th of December, when he just simply said, "This day shall live on in infamy," and it has. But there's other days. Martin Luther King in '63, obviously in front of 250,000 people live in Washington for his "I Have a Dream" speech. These are all speeches that were words on paper in the integrity, the spirit, before they came to fruition as a speech. So there's so many great examples. And I think the last two that I'll mention this morning for us, or sorry, this afternoon for us here in Singapore, and morning in Johannesburg, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is the most watched event in history in 1969 was Neil Armstrong stepping on the moon and saying, one small step for man and a giant leap for mankind. That was the most watched event in history. Nearly 800 million people at the time, when black and white TV wasn't even in some countries. Color TV had only been around for about 15 years. And then I think during my university years and into the working world, hearing my governor of California, then President Ronald Reagan, asking Mr. Gorbachev to tear down this wall in Berlin. Now, these are speeches that took many, many cycles to get right. So just like our writers today, our academics, our corporates, our entrepreneurs, Mystique, are young, are spriteful, the people who are moving forward with this community that you created, Tahira, all of these speeches that go down in history, and there's so many more. Mandela, of course, JFK, Robert Kennedy, the ones by Shipley in Australia. There's so many others. And women, I don't want to mention just white men, because there's so many powerful, powerful women. Now, of course, Cheryl with Lean In with her book, Facebook, last 5 or 6 years. There's so many communities where the speech that's coming out was written many, many, many months or years before it ever happened. And we get to celebrate that in the written word, but also through our presentations today and tomorrow. We get to be able to hear people talk about their passion for the work they've been doing. So it's such an honor to be involved with this inaugural event. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rob, for sharing all that. Yes, so what would you like me to start with now? Should I?
Well, I could do an introduction or formality.
Okay.
What do you reckon?
All right.
I mean, I know you, and of course, some of the people here, we know you, but I do have a bit of an introduction.
Oh, okay.
If we were live, I'd be doing this live, but we're not even hybrid. We're all doing this from the comforts of our own home or offices. So I do have something to read out here. It's a bit of formality, but I'll see if I can hit the highlights. I couldn't believe the first part of it, though. It said you spent 20 years in technology, so you're only 25. You must have got started when you're 5 years old. So I was amazed. But obviously, with major companies like IBM and Digital, for those of us who've been around, Digital was called DEC for many years, Digital Equipment Corporation, DEC. And I know you co-founded a technology company many years ago, and that turned into a multi-million-dollar winner. And congratulations, it's taking you forward. But I think those are the things that were the foundation, your first 20, 30 years. But what's come through, the theme in your introduction, which I can share with our online community, is this. The fact is that you've always been an advocate for the truth. And I having known of your father and your mother, I think the DNA they passed down to you through that true North Star, that sort of Southern Cross, keeping on the right path, that's what's coming through. And so when I was introduced to you, and we had our very first gathering for a cup of coffee at the stadium out here at East Coast in Singapore, it was the first 20 minutes of what you told me you were going to do as an advocate for the truth that I said, I'm on board. So introducing you, I've got this stuff on paper, but the paper doesn't bring out the personality and who you are and what you've done. And all great vision goes through many challenges, and certainly the last year hasn't been short on challenges. So I really believe that, the things that you started in January of 2006 on this road to writing your bestseller Through the Golden Door has created this virtual community that we're now getting the opportunity to honor and it's going to be a fantastic journey. So I'm so excited about what's going on. I also want to talk about, for just a few moments, about the work that you've done behind the scenes in so many other areas. So it's one thing to be a technology expert, it's another thing to be a writer, but the renaissance of creating what you've done, going behind the scenes of the Golden Door book, I think you parked yourself for perhaps almost over a year to be, as Kevin Cotton would say, a bit of a nomad, to go inside, shut down the noise, and really get yourself dialed into this mental, emotional, IQ, EQ place where you can come up with this truth advocacy. So I applaud you, and I think I'm going to be able to do this and have everyone raise their hands and do a virtual clap, because it's now time to turn it over to you, the founder, and have you give us a little introductory. So virtual clap, and
but you can't see it.
That's okay. We can pretend it's a
clap, tight clap. Don't worry, I'm not.
Tahira Amir Sultan Khan, please share with us as we get started on our day today.
Hello, how are you? Hi. Okay, so a few more people are coming. All right, thank you for the wonderful introduction, Rob. I know you wanted to. Well, I mean, you did give a good, accurate description about the 1 year when I went into lockdown. That was in my own lockdown, and that was my own birth. So that was that 360-degree change. You know, we can be born with many gifts. All of us are born with a gift and talent, but it's how we use it, and whether we're willing to step out of the box. Whether we're willing to look beyond ourselves and beyond what we're seeing around in our daily lives. And that's what I did when I stepped out of the tech world. I saw what was going on. I was very much into it. I would go to Dubai and come back to Singapore for 2 days and then go back again. I was traveling so much. We were doing projects in 22 cities. Yes, that was very, very intense. And you can just get lost in it. And then you lose yourself also. But again, of course, it depends. I was losing myself. So when I just stopped and then I thought about and I discovered who was I and what was I supposed to do on earth. All of us have a higher purpose. All of us have something that we leave a legacy. And what is this legacy? It is not property, okay? It is not something which is just physical. It's something which is intangible, and that goes on to eternity. That is eternal. It cannot be broken down. It passes on as a spirit from one person to another. So when I went into that, I went in this sort of a spiritual journey, and I was shown about the many doors, and there's only one golden door. But there's a lot more to it. And what was this golden door? Eventually, when it was revealed to me, it is that every one of us has that highest potential, the highest version of themselves, and that we need to focus on. I was focusing on the physical technology, but now about the human technology, ourselves, and we had to raise ourselves up and bring out our truth in the most sanctified way. I was given these. Heard these words. God is sending a lot of messages to a lot of people right now, and that was my first sort of encounter that shook me up. That started to get me moving forward. Everyone has a message within them, but how do you bring it out in the purest form, in a way that will bring humanity forward? This world, as in what we live in, the organization, people say that they're acting and they're speaking their truth. But what is this truth? What is it based on? Is it based on an agenda? Is it based on ego? So the foundation of it is extremely important.
Yes.
The foundation of anything is extremely important.
Yeah.
So the foundation of Golden Door, it slowly led me to it was integrity. Beyond that was the community. This is what Golden Door is. It's a community of people who are practicing in integrity. They're coming together and they do business integrity. They write and they speak and act in it. And that is the basis of how Golden Door represents this deeper truth. We are spiraling right now. This world is just stuck in a loop. And it's never been as separate as I've ever been before. And we may keep saying, like I said, we have to go beyond ourselves now and come together as a community. This process of setting up Golden Door, I'll tell you very honestly, it has been a lot of sacrifice on my part, huge sacrifices. There were times when I questioned myself, why am I doing this?
Of course.
Yeah. And I could have easily earned so much more. I was earning a lot more as a technologist, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
A lot more. But what is wealth really? Wealth is in the heart. Wealth is in the spirit. It's what you impart is that wealth. So the Golden Door gold is the wealth, but it takes you to another level. Door opens to the next stage.
Here.
Right? And the planet, the whole planet as a whole.
Yep.
So that's what it's about. As long as everybody here on this chat is walking through the Golden Door. Okay? The very fact that you're here, you are already impacted. There's a word in quantum physics called quantum entanglement. One particle impacts another, regardless of time and space. It already has that frequency. So you carry the frequency, and then something starts within you. So everyone here has that frequency now. They're walking through the Golden Door to bring out their message. And as I had stopped to think, reflect, and go deeper within myself and bring out who I really was, how often do we ask ourselves in a day, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? There's a practice which I conduct I run this training program called New Human, and I make my participants say,
what was the name again, Tahira?
New Human. The New Human. Can you hear it? Can you hear me? The New Human.
New Human.
Yes.
There we go.
Know. It sounds very, I know.
Just, okay. I want to make sure our audience heard. It's called.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, part of the practice is exploring who are you? Who are you? And it goes through the layers, asking yourself again and again. And then you'll find that you return to that much higher version of you. The much higher version of you is going to write truth and speak truth. Okay? Our conscious mind, the way we are in this daily activities is going to leave us in a lower place. We can't help it because that's the way it's constructed.
Yeah.
We have to rise above, go beyond ourselves, go deep in who are we? Who are you? Who are you? You're gonna go through that, a little bit of that on second day. Who are you? Okay, so as part of the audience, even if you're not a participant in this, who are you? So Golden Door is to discover who are you and to become that Golden Door. And as everyone here becomes a Golden Door, you become a Golden Door to others. The doors open to others.
Yep.
To become not just truth seekers, truth writers and truth creators. All of us are writers. Even if you've not written a book, you are a writer. You write a book. You create a vlog, you're a writer. Write a social media post, you're a writer. If you're regularly writing it, anything that you regularly write, you're a writer. And from there, to make what you're writing into a reality. And that's what I found through my journey. I had to become an example. This was a concept, Golden Door. Through the Golden Door was a book. But then I made it into a creation, into a physical creation.
Yeah. See? Amazing.
So your books, what you've written on your blogs, the next step is to make it into a physical creation. Whether it could be anything, up to your imagination. Anything at all. So that people start acting and being in it, being that new, you could say, the true creators, the new human. I would like to use that word, the new human. So, yeah, I know it sounds a little bit scientific. I don't know. Anyway, so some would call this year, 2020, is a time of great awakening. Absolutely. We're tested, when the times we are most tested, that's when our greatest potential has the ability to come out. We're questioning ourselves the most in darkest times. We're very fortunate in Singapore that we are, that things are still all right. But in some places, like, I was speaking to Dr. Judy. I mean, South Africa is not easy at all. India, my goodness, some of the participants in India are not having an easy time. India is still in lockdown.
Correct.
Partial lockdown, I'm talking about 5 months. This is a very testing time. And this is also the right time for Golden Door. Because it sets deep in your hearts. And then, so I moved away from what I thought I should be to what God had planned me to become, which is totally different. But the background of business and technology helped me as tools, because you still need all that. And I was dealing a lot with government. I was bureaucratic, Ministry of Defense, all those. I was having meetings with the Ministry of Defense all the time. Now it's totally different, of course. But in order to bring something which is esoteric, there's still some organization and structure that you need to put in place. It's not all airy-fairy. It's bringing it into the real world. How do you bring something that's altruistic and esoteric into the real world? There is a construct, new construction, new kind of practices that need to put in place. Yes. So the Renaissance. I had to become the new Renaissance woman, and the Golden Door represents becoming that for man, Renaissance man, woman. Means that you have those multifaceted abilities, the arts and the sciences, and opening up your capabilities and allowing for that mixing,
Yeah.
Not putting yourself in a category, that you're just an engineer, that you are just, a chef or whatever. No, you are beyond that. You are a creator, co-creator. And the intermingling of information and knowledge. The Golden Door creation was not based on, it's not a literary creation. It's actually a philosophical, literary, and technological creation. Use a bit of AI, by the way, for the judging process. Used for the essays. It went through AI to check on the integrity of content. So there is all that involvement. And then we decided not to just look at books, but also look at vlogs. And then next year will be maybe vlogs and social media posts. This year we included just blogs.
Yeah.
See? So going beyond the categories, going beyond the box, I had to become that so I could become an example, because I had lived in a box as a technologist for 20, 25 years.
I think we've all been in a box lately with the pandemic, in one way or the other.
Oh yeah, but we should never let the pandemic put ourselves just to limit ourselves. We are not limited by anything, actually.
Good point.
No pandemic. You can do anything. The technology is there for us to make it happen, but we have to use the technology in the right way, because it's always people, human first, and technology is enabler. And that's one thing I realized. It was human first. I had technology first, but it's human first and technology as an enabler. This is why on the 16th of Jan, we will still have a face-to-face networking, just an afternoon networking. So we cannot leave the face-to-face, absolutely not. There's a bonding for life, which will happen. And I see that. Also, long-term relationships, everybody involved in this, as participants, as supporters. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
You have a community that's going to be, you're part of a community called the Truth Creators Community. And the Truth Creators Community is to help you make what you have written, make it something that has form, that leaves a legacy, right?
Yeah.
So this is, whatever I explain to you actually defines who I am. Because I'm simply pouring out what I represent.
Yeah.
See? And I'm trying to do it as best as possible. It took, like I said, it took a lot of sacrifice. This year has been very hard for me. I lost my father in January. I lost my uncle in May. I lost my two best friends. It was very hard. But it doesn't mean that you give up. I'll tell you one thing. 2 weeks before my father passed away, my father was drifting between death and life. He was in the process of dying. And when you're in that process, you're very connected to God. So he was, in fact, mine was very open. And then he said to me, I was working on Golden Door because it was coming up. I was sitting at the hospital next to his bed. I was working on my laptop, trying to figure out, how do I do this while I'm with God? And then he said to me, what you're doing, Golden Door, is too clean for this world, but do it anyway. And I said, okay, we'll do it anyway. Yes. So
powerful.
Don't stop yourself if you have a vision just because of the obstacles around you. People have said to me, what you're doing doesn't have much substance. You need to have something that has more commercial viability. I mean, like I said, everything has commercial viability, but you still have to have that ultimately the human comes first. Yeah, but don't do things such a way. It's all about commerce. It's all about profits. Social aspects come first. So they said these things to me, and these were very powerful people. And I said, I just continued my journey. No matter, may seem too clean for this world, but do it anyway. It will happen. It will happen. And it is happening. The Golden Door is not just me. The Golden Door is everyone. Everyone here. Talula, Wai Ching, Professor Aryan, Bogdan, all of you are Golden Doors. Okay? All of you are Golden Doors. You carry the frequency of Golden Door. And anyone who interacts with you is going to be impacted by you.
Well said.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. As you're saying a few things along the way, I made notes, and you were saying, it isn't about the physical things, although obviously there are things we need to have physically, homes and vehicles, and we have to get around, and clothes help out from time to time. And newer earrings, those help out as well. So we know newer earrings, they matter. But I was listening to you, and I was thinking about Mahatma Gandhi, of course, who did so much work in the 40s. In just a robe, glasses, and a small book and a pencil. taking notes along the way. Or Mother Teresa, 20 years later, doing all her work in her 70s and 80s with the simplest of tools, but the most Grand Canyon in terms of emotional understanding, to do the right thing by people individually, collectively, one at a time, then through individuals who are part of the collaboration and part of the family. And those two things just jumped out at me straight away. So, and I remember some of those days with your father, getting close to his last days, and those discussions and those conversations with you along the way. So, I really applaud you for maintaining the course when it's been so easy to get off your own personal GPS and lose track. And so I think our entire audience that's online, whether it be in New Zealand or Australia or here in Singapore, Hong Kong, South Africa, Switzerland, of course, Melanie in beautiful Madrid, and Bogdan in Sacramento, everybody else in between, Cairns, we are indebted to you for bringing us along on your journey. And we are here to put, I think, the oars in the water and row alongside.
That's right.
Very, very good.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned quantum something there a while back. Quantum
entanglement.
Oh, I've never heard that. Quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement. Everybody should know that word.
I think I went through an experience like quantum entanglement. 10 of my fraternity brothers in America at my university had a 5-year reunion in Cancun, Mexico, at Club Med for 10 days. And I think we went through quantum entanglement very quickly at the bars. We went through quantum entanglement. It was pretty rough there, Tahira, I got to tell you. but we still talk about that trip. It was pretty amazing, to say the least. Now, you talked about new human. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about, what about us that don't want to be new, but we want to be renewed? I think there's a place for that.
That's what it is. Okay. It's renewed or new. It's renewed or rebirth, but you're basically becoming new. You're becoming greater. You're no longer limited.
Aha.
We're limitless, and if anybody, a new human, if you ask a new human to introduce themselves, they will never say, "I'm an author, I'm an engineer, I'm a speaker." They will not say that.
Mm.
When a new human introduces themselves, they will say, "I am a creator of, I am a truth advocate.
Yes.
I am a freedom agent."
Yeah.
So when they introduce themselves, it is based on their heart purpose.
Mm.
They've gone past the labels and the titles. Those are not important anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the book Quantum Dynamics, of course, which has been around for many decades, but more recently, the last 25, 30 years, the work being done, of course, by Deepak Chopra. And he's been in this space for quite a few decades, this area of quantum. It's pretty powerful. I just think I see the overlap between what you said, the human part and the technology part.
Yes.
And not just AI, but this amazing plethora of energy.
Biological. It's consciousness, yes.
Unbelievable. Now, in your book, Golden Door, Going Beyond the Golden Door, do you talk about this? Because I know your book's nearly 500 pages, so it's not a short read.
Well, actually, in the ebook, it's a lot of pages, but the physical book, it's about 426 pages. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not
45 scientific theories.
So it's not a weekend read. No, it's not.
It's not a weekend read. It's not. No.
So,
it's very journeying.
Do you come through this in your book in a philosophical way, like sort of Ayn Rand did in Atlas Shrugged? That's 70 years ago, but she weaved in her philosophy over 1,100 words.
Literature, it interleaves philosophy in literature, geometry.
Okay.
It has sketches, geometric sketches in it. It's very literary. It's poetic. Yes, and it has biology in it also. Oh yes, Professor Aryan has read it.
Nice, nice. Now, I'm looking at our clock, and for those who've joined us the last half an hour, 40 minutes, Rob Salisbury, you did hire me as your MC. That's kind of a master and commander thing. And we do have a time clock to be on, so some people may need to grab a quick drink, the kids are okay, make sure their phones are operating, go to the restroom, all those human things we need to do. But tell us what we're going to do in the next half an hour, 40 minutes, because we've got some things coming up. We've got a VIP panel. Yep.
Okay, that is coming up at 2:40 p.m. now in Singapore time. Now it's exactly 2:01 p.m. So about 39 minutes from now, we will take a break in about 10-20 minutes from now.
Can people stay online, correct? Just don't.
Just stay online.
Yep.
And take a break, and then please join this VIP panel, because we're going to go into solutions. An interesting mix of leaders.
And
interesting list of, a mix of leaders.
Yeah.
And we want you to be there as part of the audience. Post questions, and if you have something which appeals to the panel, we will pull you in.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. So who's going to be joining you on the panel that you're hosting?
Okay. All right. I'm going to introduce. I'm going to be moderating it, and it will be former Member of Parliament, Viswas Saravasan, and from Singapore, and he's supposed to be the most premier thought leader. I wonder whether he's online. He's coming shortly. And he spoke on TEDx. The title of the talk was "Perception is Truth."
Yep.
He is a mediator, an expert mediator, and he is very, very well connected and very influential.
So that's a 2:40.
That's a 2:40.
Okay.
Professor,
give me 20-second introductions. Who else? Come on.
Professor Aryan. Okay, maybe my introduction will be too long.
That's okay.
Okay, Professor Aryan. Yes, based in Australia, from Austria. Sorry, from Austria.
We love Austria too. Salzburg.
A historian. Okay, he has tremendous knowledge about world history. Okay, there he is. Viennese. All right, Viennese. And he is a conspiracy analyst. He was featured on Red Pill, which received thousands and thousands of views. He knows everything and everything about what's happening politically, historically.
So you think we can ask him a few words about the land moon? Is that possible? He's a conspiracy analyst. I had read that.
Not a conspiracy theorist. He's a conspiracy analyst. By the way, his pronunciation is correcting me now. Okay. Then with them, we have Dr. Kirpal Singh, who is a poet laureate, our chief judge. He is known as the premier literarist. He will give a more cultural point of view.
Okay.
We'll be exploring solutions to what's happening in this world. You must remember, the entire world situation is because of deviated written truth and spoken truth. If you look at the core essence of everything, deviated written truth and written spoken truth. So we start dealing with the first half, we can solve a lot of things.
Okay.
So, yes.
So let's do a recap real quickly. Who's our VIP panelists? We have number one.
Viswa Saravasan.
Yep.
From Singapore.
Yep.
Professor Aaron von Reger.
Yep. Number three.
We have Dr. Kirpal Singh.
Nice. And
I am moderator.
And you're a moderator. So that's a 2:40. 2:40
p.m.
That'll be in about 35 minutes, right?
Yes. And before that, take a break.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Now, look, Tahira, it has been an awesome hour and a half. Thank you so much for opening up. Has it really been an hour and a half? It just seems like 10 minutes ago. We just started. It's been unbelievable.
All right.
I know you're in Malaysia. I'm in Singapore. We got an audience around the world, but I'd be remiss if I didn't put this up to say, you know, we all wish you were here in Singapore during this time, and in January we'll get that opportunity. We know that. But in the meantime, I know we're all accepting invitations to go overseas. So, you know, I wish I was there in Cairns, for sure. But I want to say hi to I want to say hi to Bo in Sacramento, who's been unbelievable. It'd be remiss of me, and Melanie of course, in Spain, in Madrid.
Madrid, yes.
I swear she must have twins. There must be 3 of them in the same person. She does more in 24 hours than anyone I know who does in a week. This woman is truly phenomenal. So hats off to you, girl. I hope the morning in Madrid's treating you well. So it's been an absolute joy to be with you. My name is Rob Salisbury. I'll be back later today. We'll have a wonderful experience this afternoon. And then tonight with the amazing Jim Cathcart, one of the most prolific speakers on the planet, one of the most awarded Hall of Fame speakers, and a man at 73 who is knocking out 100 push-ups a day, and his BP level and pulse rate is lower than mine, and that's pretty good. So, Tahira, any closing remarks, and we'll say goodbye for now?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all for joining us in the beginning here, and I want to once again, to all the participants who are waiting to join us back in January 2020, I applaud you for having the same persistence that I had in carrying. Because it's like I said, it's not a one-person show. It's everyone together. So you had the same level of persistence and the same level of optimism and belief in what will happen after this first milestone. This is just the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I encourage you to be part of this entire Golden Door virtual convention from day 1 to day 3. Day 1, we'll have the panel coming up. We'll also have that entertainment segment. We'll have that the awards. All right. All those who are part of the awards, I mean, in terms of participants, you need to be there. It's mandatory. Okay, I will be very clear about this. You need to be there. And after that, we have a little break. At 8 p.m., we will have the inauguration. And please join in the inauguration. It's very, very important. It's a historic moment. Even though Golden Door was incorporated in Singapore, our guest of honor is American. So it means that we don't look at particular nationality, actually. It is time to look beyond that. So Incorporation Singapore, guest of honor, American, great. You see, the main thing is, I'll explain later when the inauguration happens, how Jim Cathcart, you'll meet him later. He's such a heart for truth.
Absolutely.
Such a heart for it. I mean, it's such, he's so impassioned by it. And you will also meet some very, very powerful truth advocates. Sasha Stone, who has millions of followers around the world, based in Bali, but he is a very fearless activist and deeply spiritual person. You'll be at the inauguration. Please be there. That we will end the inauguration with a networking. Okay, take advantage of that. We will also be graced by the Bishop Ria of Nazareth. I just met up with him recently.
Nice.
He's going to be coming and saying a few words. Sasha Stone's going to say a few words. Bishop Ria is going to say a few words. And tomorrow, we'll talk about tomorrow. Please be there entire 3 days. You will come back. You will come out, not come back, come out, transformed. Okay, great. All right.
I'm your MC.
Yes, I'm talking too much.
We love you. See you back in about 25 minutes at 2:40 Singaporean time, 4:40 Australian time. and you can figure out wherever you're at in Johannesburg or Austria or the States or in Madrid. Tahira, it's been an absolute fantastic. I'm giving you virtual claps, my dear. Virtual claps.
I have to honor the MC for, you know, this wonderful, entertaining MC. He's going to get us all very excited and geared up for the day. Okay. All right. So we will see you shortly. You don't need to log out. You don't need to log out. Just come back in and we will begin. 2:40 p.m. Singapore time. That is GMT +8, wherever you are. All right?
Yep.
Okay. Actually, just it's going to remain on. Anybody wants to ask any question, you can. You can ask about the workshops, etc. The session is just going to be on till, I think, about 2:30. It's going to be there. And feel free to get your refreshments or, you know, etc. Whatever we need to do.
So if people ask a question, they can log in, they can write in right now, and
yes.
plug in. We'll see who you are.
Yes. One more thing I want to say is that I want to introduce Titania. Titania is helping coordinate in the background. If your guests are having problem logging in and finding out how to log in, etc., please message Titania. You can just go to the people segment, see on the top right, people, and then message Titania. She will help you help them. If there's anything, she will help you. Okay? Great.
And we were remiss in saying that earlier. She has been fantastic. Thanks, Tat. You're love you long time.
She's right now trying to help a few people to log in.
I know. It's
I know.
unbelievable. Yeah. But we'll stay logged in. For those who need to take a quick break, it's been absolute pleasure. And I tell you what, I'm going to hang on to this ticket for a long time, Tahira. In January, when we have our virtual hybrid / real function at Marina Bay Sands, hopefully Carrie Phipps and Lyndon will be able to fly up from Australia, and we'll be able to have a great big jug of lime margaritas and a couple pizzas someplace. That would be darn good, or just some Hakka Center, you know, food up here. But Marina Bay Sands, I don't think a lot of folks know, but you still have a deposit there, and we still have a room on hold. And that event is it's gonna go forward. Whatever happens, we will have an event, hybrid, virtual. It will go. Is that true?
Yes, it will be just a purely just networking, those who are in Singapore and it'll be an afternoon high tea, you know.
Nice.
So you will enjoy. We have all this information and we've connected, but now it's to deepen the connections.
But we're also going to have some workshops. I know Carrie and I are going to have a workshop split together. That would be awesome.
Yes, absolutely. There will be one workshop.
Yeah.
At the event, because we have booked the whole day for a function room there. We've kept it there, and we have in the early afternoon we have a workshop. Rob Salisbury and Carrie Phipps. If Carrie is able to fly down, hopefully the borders of Australia opens up. Let's pray it does. The workshop is on branding, was it?
Well, we could do branding, but you know, I think what we have found in the research Carrie and I have done the last few months, it isn't about
connecting.
Macro, it's not about the macro side of branding.
Right.
It's about promoting, marketing, positioning, putting yourself in the right lanes in your swimming pool, and whether that be locally or globally or nationally, the reality is all of us have a place where we can be. And one of the most underestimated areas, of course, is getting your message right, but getting your marketing right. And we can learn a lot over the next few months about how to do that. But Carrie and I together have been involved with over 25 books, and it's been an absolute wonderful experience to be able to do some research to get to this point where we're going to have a workshop for these VIPs who invested early free for them to be able to be there and take on board this opportunity to learn how to promote, market, position, step themselves up, sell themselves more without being, unprofessional, but be completely professional.
Yes.
And going beyond the technology side, going beyond LinkedIn, going beyond Facebook. We're talking about workshops, courses, online presence, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's an honor to work with Carrie. I've known her a long time. We've had a lot of fun together, and she's very, very good at what she does. And I'm looking forward to have the chance to work with our audience as we get closer and closer. So there'll be some fine tuning in these 4 or 5 different areas, but that'll go out. I know it's already on the website. So be good.
I want to say hello to Zainul Abidin Rashid. Thank you for joining in. Former Member of Parliament and a very good friend of my late father. Thank you, Zainul, for coming.
Tahira, I'll see you in a few minutes. I'm going to just leave you for a few moments to chat with my wife. She wants to go off shopping. I'm going to keep my credit cards closed.
You're going to go shopping now? Okay, all right.
Not me, her.
Okay. All right.
Be back in a little while.